Good evening, everyone. It's just a little past 6:30, so we're going to get started. I now call to order this meeting of Lancaster City Council for November 26, 2024. A couple of reminders for everyone here at the top of our meeting. This is a good opportunity to silence your cell phones and devices if you haven't done so already. This meeting and its participants are being recorded. Tonight we have meetings of a regular meeting of council with public comment periods for each item and also at the beginning and end of our meeting. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker per topic and must begin with your name and block of residence for our meeting record. And to keep time, this light that is here in front of me for each speaker will turn green when your time begins. It will turn yellow when you have 1 minute remaining, and it will turn red when 3 minutes has been expended. So thank you in advance for everyone to help us keep equal time for all. And now for all of those who are willing and able, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I found it. All right. Mr. Harris, will you please call the roll of members?
Yes, Madam President. Mr. Med.
Here.
Mr. Arroyo.
Here.
Mr. Cleese.
Here.
Ms. Craig.
Here.
Ms. Diaz.
Here.
Mr. Hirsch.
Here.
And President Baker.
Here. We'll begin with the approval of the minutes of the November 12th, 2024 meetings of council.
Motion to approve. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any council comments on the minutes? Hearing none. Mr. Harris.
Mr. Med.
Aye.
Mr. Arroyo.
Aye.
Mr. Cleese.
Aye.
Ms. Craig.
Aye.
Ms. Diaz.
Aye.
Mr. Hirsch.
Aye.
And President Baker.
Aye. Our next item on the agenda is proclamations, honors, awards, and resolution of recognition. We have one of those tonight, and Mr. Harris, if you would please read it for us.
Yes, Madam President. Resolution number 89. A resolution of the Council of the City of Lancaster recognizing the athletes and coaches of the Lancaster City Boxing Academy for their success at the 2024 Silver Gloves Tournament and other events, the representation of Lancaster, and expressing confidence in their hard work and dedication will bring them success in all aspects of life.
Motion to approve. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Members of council, I'm incredibly proud to introduce this resolution this evening. Our boxers here in Lancaster, our student boxers, were brought to my attention by Mr. Andrew Marshall, and their accomplishments are absolutely amazing. I'm going to leave it to him to talk a little bit about those accomplishments and what they have achieved over the course of the last several years, and particularly most recently at the Silver Gloves Tournament. Mr. Marshall, if you would please come up to the podium. And as you begin there, just make sure that the microphone is green.
I will give I just had a tooth pulled. My face is swollen a little bit. So what I want to talk about is this young man here. He has done an unbelievable job that no one knows about. So when the police made a call out to residents to try to make a difference in the city with some of the violence going on, perceived violence anyway. I figured I'd take that call to action. So I went to a men's breakfast and I met this young man. And because I'm getting old, I said, I can't do what you do, but I can give you some of my expertise. So I helped him get his 501c3. And what I want to help him do is to raise some money. He's spending his own money. He has a building with a boxing facility in there. He has rooms for computers, after-school programs, and I want to try to help him get some money so he don't have to do this on his own. I'll be there as long as my wife allows me to assist him, but he's going to come up and talk about all the accomplishments of these young men.
Mr. William Torres, Sr., good evening, and thank you for being here.
Hello, thanks for having me. We've been here in Lancaster City. We're about 2 blocks away on Andrew Street. Been here 13 years. In that 13 years, we've amassed the most national champions in one program in the state of Pennsylvania. The program has been home to these two since they were about 8 years old. The ones behind me are coming behind them. We have about 6 national champions with us right now. He was on Team USA in 2021. They're both ranked number 3 in the nation right now, both 3-time national champions. Our gym was recognized, myself was recognized with 2023 Mid-Atlantic Banquet for the Coach of the Year. The 2024 banquet hasn't happened yet, but I'm in front running for that. It's a family-oriented place for these kids to come to. Every evening we're open from 4:45 to 9 o'clock. It's a lifestyle. These kids obviously have embraced that and have grown and do well in school, do great in the gym, and they represent Lancaster well everywhere we go. We're Lancaster City Boxing Academy, so they bring me great pride and joy everywhere I travel. They're well known all over the country, yeah, we like I said, we're number 1 in the state of Pennsylvania. That's not easy with Philadelphia being here. So, and that's about it. That's all.
Well,
Thank you.
well, that's about. He's a modest young man. I mean, he's doing an absolutely tremendous job. What I wanted to do, I send a press release to every news organization. No one's here. Now, if we had, is someone here? Good.
Lynn P. is here.
Good. Okay.
No? Am I missing? Okay.
You have another one? Good.
And one United. Thank you. Yes.
Because I was ready to criticize you. Absolutely, because it gets frustrating. Because if something negative were to happen in our community, we always see it in the paper. What I want to do is see this young man and these young people back here in the paper for something positive. So our mission is not only to do boxing, but our mission is to help them, because what I like about these young men and what he's trying to teach them, it is easy to put somebody on the ground. The best thing to know is I can put you on the ground, but I walk away because that gives me self-confidence to know I'm able to do it, but I don't have to do it. We want to teach these young men how to be successful for the rest of their life. And that's a part of this program. That's what we're going to try to build up. So with your help, if you could try to help us find some funding, we would appreciate it. So you don't want to talk about that, but I want to help him because he's paying this on his own. He hasn't got any dollars at all. We just got his 501c3. We need some help from the community. If anyone knows any sources out there who want to help him, we would appreciate it.
Thank you both very much. And just really quickly, if there was a student that wanted to get involved in the Lancaster City Boxing Academy, how would one do that?
Through social media or Google. You can Google the gym name, and my phone number's on there.
Great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I really appreciate it. I will open this up to any comments from members of council. Councilor Ahmed.
Thank you, Council President, and thank you, Mr. Marshall and Mr. Torres, for highlighting the achievements of our youth here, and I just wanted to say thank you and congratulations to our champions here in the room, and thank you for representing Lancaster City.
Council President.
Councilor Arroyo.
I just wanted to say congratulations. Thank you, Mr. Torres and Mr. Marshall, for bringing this wonderful group here tonight. I think the discipline that you guys learned within the gym is definitely transferable to what you carry out in life. So continue doing what you're doing. Congratulations.
Comments from any other members of the public? Hearing none. Mr. Harris.
Mr. Madden.
Aye.
Mr. Roy.
Aye.
Mr. Cleese.
Aye.
Ms. Craig.
Aye.
Ms. Stevens.
Aye.
Mr. Hirsch.
Aye.
President Baker.
Aye. Thank you all so very much. What we'd like to do is take a photo tonight. You're all here. You have your belts, your medals. It's really impressive. So if you would give us just a moment to do that, I think we'll gather over in this general area. Anyone would like to join us? I do have a copy of this from you all. We're leaving. I'm going to give everybody just a few moments who is stepping out. Though you're not required to stay for the rest of the meeting, you can if you wish. But if you'd like to, I'll give you a moment to step out before we resume. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. And happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you. Thank you. All right, thank you, everyone. We will move on to our next item on our agenda, which is our first public comment period. This is reserved for residents who have contacted the city clerk prior to the meeting to request the opportunity to address city council. Again, duration of these comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker. And please begin with your name and block of residence for our meeting record. Mr. Harris, do we have comments for the first period?
We do, Madam President. First, we have Irene Rivas.
Great, thank you. Ms. Rivas. Good evening.
Good evening. I am here again requesting for, or actually demanding for answers from the last city council meeting, and I have yet to receive any answers. This is an ongoing problem, and this needs to be addressed immediately. So I am looking for answers. Does anyone have answers for me, or is this just going to be another hole in another rabbit hole going nowhere? And I'm still seeking for answers why I'm locked out of my property on 901 Manor Street. As many of you know, the mayor's response was because it's in litigation. Well, it's no longer in litigation. The public nuisance complaint was dismissed for lack of prosecution only after I filed a motion to dismiss it. So why am I locked out of my property? What remaining violations are there when everything had been done back in 2021? So So I'm still waiting and waiting and waiting, and no answers, right? Just gonna sit there and give me my 3 minutes and send me along the way.
Do you have anything further, Ms. Grievous? I do not have any specific.
Well, why not? Did you receive my email? In fact, I sent an email to all of you, including the mayor and Izzy, the former city council president, demanding for answers. Ms. Craig, Councilwoman Craig was in the property along with Izzy Smith-Waddell at the time. And I still don't have any answers after 3 years. Like, what are you guys hiding? I guess my 3 minutes isn't up, and I'm still asking the same answers that I have not been receiving for over 3 years. So this abuse continues on. You know, people's American dreams should not become an American nightmare, because this is basically what it has come. It has become an American nightmare. Where is the equality, inclusion, and equity that you guys keep discussing in the democracy in the city of Lancaster, a certified welcoming city? Where is the equity, equality, and inclusion? Because I certainly don't see it. The only thing I see is everyone standing there are puppets for this administration to line your deep pockets. Everyone has gotten their pay raises, correct? While everyone else is suffering, watching people being displaced from their home at the benefit of special interest groups and all the aristocrats that are benefiting from this abuse. This is shameful. And you guys, you ought to be ashamed of yourselves, because certainly you're not doing the city any justice. So I'm still waiting for answers. Is there any answers? Did you receive my last email that I sent to every single council person?
Ms. Grievous, your 3 minutes is up.
Oh, I know my 3 minutes. They've been up. Every single meeting that I've been to, I get the same answers. My 3 minutes are up. Where's the freaking answers to my questions? Is there any answers?
Excuse me, we will have order during this meeting.
An order for what? To line your deep pockets. That's the order.
Mr. Harris, are there any further comments for this period?
No, Madam President, there are not.
Thank you very much. We will move then to reports requested by council. I don't believe we have any this evening. Is that correct?
We do not, Madam President.
Thank you. We will move then to interim reports of committees of council. I believe we have one from the Finance Committee. Councilor Arroyo.
Thank you, Council President. On November 14, 2024, the Finance Committee held a special meeting to hear the 2025 proposed budget overview. Director Tina Campbell gave an overview which included the proposed earned income tax increases of 0.3% versus 0.5%. We also heard from Director Stephen Campbell and the Public Works team. The team presented on the capital plan and capital budget. From each area, we heard about the investment drivers, overview of capital budgets coming down the line, and the impact, capital budgets coming down the line, and capital projects coming down the line, and the impact of these projects on the city budget and ratepayers. They also discussed potential funding sources for each of these projects. That concludes my report, Council President.
Thank you very much, Councilor Arroyo. We'll now move into our legislative agenda for this evening. Our first item are Heritage Conservation District items. Mr. Harris.
Yes, Madam President, we have one this evening. Considering the following application and recommendation from the Historical Commission, improvements to a property within the Heritage Conservation District, Water Street Mission, owner of 205 South Queen Street, proposes construction of a new 2-story addition on an existing 1-story building, and that was recommended for approval by the Historical Commission.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. Do we have a motion for this recommendation?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you. Councilor Craig, do you have anything further on this one?
Council President, I do not.
Thank you. Council, you were provided with a memorandum from the Historical Commission recommending the certificate of appropriateness. Do we have anything further from staff? I don't see Ms. Stallings here or any other member of the board. Are there any other council comments on this item? From the public? Hearing none, Mr. Harris.
Mr. Matt?
Aye.
Mr. Roy?
Aye.
Mr. Please?
Aye.
Ms. Craig?
Aye.
Ms. Stevens?
Aye.
Mr. Hirsch?
Aye.
President Baker.
Aye. We move on to our next item on the legislative agenda. That's ordinances for final passage. That's Administration Bill number 9, 2024. Mr. Harris.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Lancaster, Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, amending Chapter 22 of the Code of the City of Lancaster, Boards, Commissions, etc., Article 7, Traffic Commission, 2220, Residential District Parking Meter Zones, to specifically authorize the Traffic Commission to, from time to time, create, establish, and monitor pilot programs related to the residential district parking meters with terms of no more than 1 year, providing for the repeal of inconsistent ordinances, providing for the severability ordinance, and providing that the ordinance shall take effect in accordance with Pennsylvania law.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Councilor Hirsch.
Thank you, Council President. This ordinance, which had its first reading in our November 12th meeting of Council, is essentially City Council giving our blessing to the Traffic Commission to conduct a pilot program. As many of you may be aware, the city has been working with a consultant over the last year or so to make improvements to its residential parking permit program. These changes include allowing the parking authority to use LPR, license plate reading technology, for more efficient enforcement, and making parking zones on a 2x2 block basis, among other changes. As part of the phase 2 of the implementation of these changes, the parking authority will plan to conduct a pilot program in 2025.
Thank you very much, Councilor Hirsch. Are there any additional council comments on this, this bill? From the public? Hearing none, Mr. Harris.
Mr. Madden.
Aye.
Mr. Roy.
Aye.
Mr. Cleese.
Aye.
Ms. Gregg.
Aye.
Ms. Diaz.
Aye.
Mr. Hirsch.
Aye.
President Baker.
Aye. Next, we will move to ordinances for first reading. The first one is Administration Bill number 10, 2024. Mr. Harris.
An ordinance of the Council of the City of Lancaster, County of Lancaster, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, appropriating the specific sums estimated to be required for the specific purposes of the city government hereinafter set forth during the year 2025, allowing for a severance provision, providing for the repeal of inconsistent ordinances, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you very much, Mr. Harris. This is a first read, and we will, of course, come back to this in our second meeting in December. I'd like to turn it over to Mayor Sirachi at this time for some further comments on our last meeting.
Thank you. Before I jump in, I just want to say we've been at this conversation related to the budgets for several months, and typically this time of year I'm giving my annual budget address to council, but tonight I'm just going to provide a quick reprise of where we are right now. So council has before it tonight 3 ordinance for first reading. You did just hear Administration Bill 10, 2024. This is the home rule budget that is being introduced to council. It sets forth spending for the general fund and for each of the enterprise funds. The differences between the home rule budget and the regular budget are few but important. There are some additional legal expenses related to writing of a new administrative code, all of which will come before council, as I have briefed council on before. Additionally, the home rule budget restores funding at the 2024 levels to LEMSA in the amount of $150,000 and to the Lancaster Public Library at $110,000. These are, again, bringing them back to their full funding. Because we are required by law to have a balanced budget, council also must pass legislation that generates sufficient revenue to meet financial obligations set forth in the budget. There are 2 revenue bills before you also for first reading. Administrative Bill 11 sets the real estate tax rate for 2025, which will not increase. Administrative Bill 12, 2024 sets forth the earned income tax rate, which will increase. After considerable discussion about a 0.3 or a 0.5 rate increase, we are proposing a 0.5 increase with the expectation that future councils hold the line on increasing any other tax increases for the foreseeable future. A 0.5 increase represents a $300 increase over the current rate for the average earner making $60,000, or about $5.77 a week. For the city budget, an increase of 0.5 means that our fund balance reserves are stabilized, the potential for an increase in our bond rating by Moody's, which stands at an A3 stable rating. At the December Finance Committee meeting, City Council will be presented with additional ordinances related to the allocation of the remaining $3.4 million of ARPA funding, as well as increases to sewer and trash collection fees, which have been previously discussed. There will be no increase for water or stormwater fees. And with that, I will turn it back to you, Council President.
Thank you very much. Councilor Arroyo, do you have anything else to add?
Nothing to add.
Thank you. Any additional comments from council at this time? Comments from the public? Good evening.
Good evening. You guys know who I am. Do I have to introduce myself again?
We should for the meeting record, if you could. Just
okay. Susie Gomez, 115 North Reservoir Street. I just wanted to confirm for the record, did you guys have a meeting at 6 p.m. today? Finance meeting?
We did.
And why wasn't the public addressed?
The committee meeting? It was a meeting to, do you mean advertised or public comment?
Why wasn't the public alerted that you were having a 6 p.m. meeting today?
Mr. Harris, what day was, if you have it with you, what day was the special finance meeting advertised?
I think it was on the 18th.
On the 18th. So within the required timeline?
Yes.
Correct.
And how did you publicize that?
As required, we must do local advertising in the paper. It was also advertised on the city website, social media, I believe.
So you're telling me it was on the city website and in the papers?
Correct.
Okay.
As required by law.
Okay. And did anyone attend from the public?
Yes.
One person? One person.
Yep.
Okay. I just think that it's not fair. And in regards to the meters and what's happening in the city, with all of these the prices going up, taxes going up, I don't think that you guys are looking at the 60% of the population in the city. I think you're only really looking at equitable solutions that line up your deep pockets. There are really people hurting in this city that have been here for over 40 years. Okay? Equitable solutions is not getting us anywhere. I mean, you did not publicize the home rule study properly. Because if you did, there wouldn't have been 60% of us lost. Or let me say 40% of us. Because they still don't understand what home rule is about. So while you're increasing the $60,000 salaries of hardworking citizens and you're taking and taking and taking and taking because you want to give yourself raises while other people have to pay your deficits, it's shameful. It truly is. Because it shows us that you're only looking at one class party, not all. So it's sad.
Thank you.
I will just add that there are no proposed salary increases for City Council, and effective January 1, medical benefits would no longer be provided.
Thank you.
I believe that all council members are aware.
Yes, and I was going to add that as well. There is no proposed council increase, nor has there been one put forward. Any further comments from the public?
Jose Rivera, co-founder of the West Crystal Volunteers. I only have one problem. Of course, you're not going to raise the taxes on water. You can't drink it. A matter of fact, why are we paying for water when you can't drink it? You know, what you guys are talking about, and the reason I'm sitting up here is because the The West Crystal Volunteers are kids. You know how many mothers and fathers are on top of me over this issue? You can't even boil the water. It's no good. Some people can't afford to go to the store and buy water. You guys are not looking at everything at all. You guys know it from the beginning. It's not the pipe, it's that water plant that needs to be updated. Is it back from the 1800s? I assume so. So while you guys are saying, oh, no taxes, you're not making us happy because we still don't got water. Some people are afraid to even take a bath because it could go through their pauses. They don't know. That's why I'm here. I don't understand this. You guys are just not doing nothing or pushing for us to have clean water. But then again, you want us to pay the water bill. That's all I gotta say.
Thank you, sir. Any additional comments from the public this evening on the first reading? Okay.
I have something to say.
Ms. Gomez, you did already comment on this particular item.
Okay, just a comment, 3 seconds. I just want to remind you that we may not be educated because we pay your salary to do the job for us. The taxpayers in the city of Lancaster pay your salary. So I just want to remind you of that. It is you who represent us, not us who represent you. So do your job, because that's why you were elected in, maybe not by the people in the city of Lancaster, because we know very well how you guys were elected in. But there are really hurting people out these doors. And if you really cared, you would at least allow us to stop drinking or bathing in contaminated water.
Thank you. Mayor or Director Campbell, I would ask that either one of you please speak to that. We did address this in a previous meeting, but if anyone has just a moment to just briefly address the water quality.
Yes, so we continue to meet all of the federal and state regulations related to water. There are new rules that are being promulgated by EPA. Mr. Lopez, Mr. Rivera, I'm sorry. I do appreciate that you are hearing concerns from residents, and I'm going to speak a little bit about that in my mayor's report. I have complete confidence that our water is safe to drink. I drink it, my family drinks it.
No, you're not. You do not drink faucet water. Please,
We please have order for just a moment. Mayor Srirachi, if you could just briefly wrap that up and move on.
Just to say that we are in the process of addressing the EPA's lead and copper rule, which I will be talking about tonight.
Thank you. Could we please have order in the room so we can continue with our meeting this evening? Thank you. We have further ordinances for first reading this evening. Could we please have order in the room so we can proceed with our meeting? I appreciate it. Thank you. We have further ordinances for first reading this evening. Members of council, we have Administration Bill number 11, 2024. If you would please, Mr. Harris.
An ordinance of the Council of the City of Lancaster, County of Lancaster, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, amending 270-26 of the Code of the City of Lancaster to levy on all persons and property within the City of Lancaster subject to taxation for the year 2025 for general revenue purposes 12.64 mils of each dollar of assessed valuation of real estate, the same being the sum of $1.26 of each $100 of said assessed valuation, which tax for billing purposes is to be included in the billing of the tax levied on property for general revenue purposes, providing for the repeal of inconsistent ordinances, providing for the severability of the ordinance, and providing for an effective date. The imposition of the 12.64 millage tax rate imposes no change on the taxes imposed during the calendar year 2024.
Thank you very much, Mr. Harris. Councilor Arroyo, anything additional to add on this one?
I don't have anything additional to add, Council President.
Thank you. Comments from members of council on this particular bill? Thank you. Any additional comments from the public on the first reading? All right, hearing none. Again, this will come up at our second meeting in December, which will be on the 17th. We do have one other related bill for our first reading this evening. It's Bill number 12, 2024. Mr. Harris.
An ordinance of the Council of the City of Lancaster, County of Lancaster, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, to increase the tax imposed for general revenue purposes on the earned income and net profits of individual residents of the City of Lancaster, as set forth in 273A of the Code of the City of Lancaster, from 0.6% to 1.1%, providing for the repeal of inconsistent ordinances, providing for the severability ordinance, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. Councilor Royer, anything additional on this one?
Just one comment. I just want to thank Director Tina Campbell for the presentation over the budget overview, specifically around the earned income tax and really helping council understand the benefits of the earned income tax compared to the property tax increase, as well as the 0.3% versus the 0.5%. The presentation was very enlightening for council, and just wanted to say thank you for the presentation.
Thank you, Councilor Arroyo. I would echo those sentiments and also just speak to other members of council in saying that I believe that this percentage is the right one at this time. It's a crucial moment that we have to make this decision and get it right the first time. And it's been borne out in other locations across the state of Pennsylvania that if we get this particular decision correct, then it makes a huge impact to the folks who pay property taxes, not just property owners, but renters who pay those property taxes for years to come. So I think that this is the right decision and one I felt confident in us bringing forward into our proposed budget. Additional comments from council? From the public on the first reading.
Let me just say something.
Ms. Gunn.
Okay, so can you, are you saying it went from 0.6 to 1.1% for the tax increase?
It's currently, earned income tax is currently 1.1%, with part of that going to the school district and part of and being set by the school district, and part of that being set and going to the City of Lancaster. So we are discussing the portion of that amount that would be directed to the City of Lancaster.
Okay, as if you don't get none right.
Additional comments from the public on the first reading? All right, hearing none, then again, this will be in front of council on the meeting on December 17th. Right. We have reached the end of our legislative agenda and now moving into our second comment period for this evening, open to comments for issues that were not previously on the agenda. Again, duration of comments is limited to 3 minutes per speaker. And please begin with your name and your block of residence for the meeting record. I'll open that comment period now, please.
Thank you. I have an update on Crystal Park. I know I came here before you guys to speak about Crystal Park. So far they're pinning. Thank you. The rubber around the swings and everything was put in professionally. Good rubber, everything. I appreciate you guys. But we still are not finished with that park. We still need our sign that says Crystal Park on it. For real. Because when they remodel our park, they never put that sign back. They never even put the flagpole back. I had to get fundings for that flagpole. Right now, the socket, the outlets in the park are unsafe. They're still wrapped with, electric tape. We got wires hanging out, and the kids are very nosy. Everybody knows that. We definitely need a camera in that park. There's not a camera in that park. The camera is outside the park on the corner, Crystal Street. Am I right? And it's not seeing nothing. We can't. I'm getting a lot of complaints of strange people. Now that the homeless are being pushed out, they're going into the neighborhoods. And they're using these public parks as their little, And I've been getting a lot of complaints over this, especially by mothers and fathers. I told them I don't know what I could do. I'll come to the council and explain it to you guys. Yeah, they do need help in that area. There is a lot of kids. Ward 7, District 4-3 has a lot of kids. Because we also got the kids from Manor Street crossing over into our district. So we's kids are coming over into our section. We got 2 parks. We got the Water Park, Ronnie Park, and we got Crystal Park. Ronnie Park is being used by smokers, drug, everything. I've been finding so much paper on the floor. I can tell what it is. Security is very low in that area. It is very low. They're more concentrating of Crystal Park, and they're forgetting that we do have another park right there. And we are getting, the kids tell me what's going on. We don't do this. I said, you guys are not doing it, but other kids that come into the neighborhood are doing it. So I see if you guys can help us. I'm pretty sure the park department will help us with it, but there's a couple of things that I still need to make sure that park is safe.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rivera.
Thank you.
Your updates. Are there any additional public comments for this period? Ms. Grievous.
Irene Grievous. At the last city council meeting, I brought up this situation, the ongoing situation with the trash not being picked up. I received multiple citations. I guess this is part of the setup, just like the other property. And it had not been addressed. I brought this up numerous city council meetings in the past how many years now, and there's still no answers to this problem. At the last city council meeting, Councilor Diaz asked Mr. Campbell to look into this situation, why I'm being singled out, where my my weekly trash is not being picked up as everybody else's. And I have a video recording that will speak for itself. In fact, I asked Mr. Harris, the clerk, to grant me permission to show it on the big screen so it would speak for itself. So it's not just me saying it, the evidence will speak for itself, and obviously I didn't get a response. Nor did I get a response from Mr. Campbell or Millsy or anyone, just like I haven't gotten a response in the past 3 years for anything else for that matter. Therefore, why am I paying for trash when the city cannot do their job? I want the opportunity to hire my own hauler so I don't have these issues, these ongoing issues where my trash is not being picked up, yet I'm receiving citations, not 1, not 2, not 3, multiple citations for exploitation. I'm being exploited basically, while you guys just sit back and just ignore this problem. I want the opportunity to hire my own hauler. Why is it that a difficult request for it to be granted? And when I do call in and complain every now and then, my trash cans, as retribution, my trash cans get disposed of. This is what I get, not once, not twice. It was 2 on Manor Street and 2 on Mary Street. That's an even number of 4 in a period of 3 years. How many more years do I have to keep going through this abuse? Where is the democracy, the equity, equality, and inclusion? I keep asking that, and I'm not getting any answers. and I still don't get any answers. You're going to give me my 3 minutes, and I'm going to go along my way, right? While you still keep taking my money for trash that is not being collected, that I have to hire my own, I have to dispose of the trash on my own to avoid these ongoing citations from the city, from exploiting me. And it's okay, right? While you guys just keep lining your deep pockets, serving and policing yourselves with really no answers.
Council President, if I may,
yes,
I can respond to this.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms.
Ms. Rivas, we have a contract with Penways. They are directed that there can only be a certain number of trash bags. I believe it is 6 that are set out. Up to 6 32-gallon, 30-pound bags of trash will be collected from each household each week.
Mayor Sirachi, I'm aware of that. I am aware of what you're saying. The problem is it's not being picked up at all. It's not because of the limit. It's not because it's over or...
She is endeavoring to answer some of your questions.
It's the same. It's the same frivolous answers. This is why I wanted to bring the video recording to show that my property was completely skipped. Do you understand what skip means? They didn't pick one item or 2 items. They picked nothing up. We had to haul the trash away ourselves on Manheim Pike. This is how we got rid of the trash.
I would invite Mayor Sirachi to continue if you wish at this point.
What's the point?
Just to say the trash has been picked up.
Thank you. Director Carrasco, if you have something additional to add at this point.
I do want to share that I did follow up with Ms. Grievous and had a phone conversation actually with her today. And there were 3 reported incidences, and I did share with her that here at council I would share documentation of that, which I plan to do so at the end of this meeting.
Thank you very much.
Show a video recording showing my trash was skipped. You don't seem to understand that.
I have one more thing to say that I forgot.
Just very, very briefly, because you did go about 45 seconds over the previous one, Mr. Rivera, and I do endeavor to give everyone equal time.
Okay, I'm sorry, but I forgot to mention the bike lanes. I am a compulsive bicycle rider. I never owned a license, never owned a car. My way around the city is on bikes. There's one problem with it. You guys have bike lane in. What I mean by in is by the sidewalk. What I mean by out is on the side of the street. Now, the bike lane that's on the side of the street, that's dangerous. Because you have people parking on it. I have pictures of city workers park right on the bike lane. If any city workers is companies or whatever on the bike lane. So the problem is that if I get off the bike lane to go around it, I could get hit by traffic coming, flying, because they fly down that Chestnut. But the one that's inner is more safer. Honestly, to me, it is more safer because that's the only way I get around town. You know, okay. I figure I said that because I see you guys are doing that.
Thank you. Are there any further public comments for this period?
I just want to say
Ms. Gomez.
I just want to say one thing here. When Commissioner Ray D'Agostino was my boss, he can very well tell you about my reputation and my stamina. When I come up here, it's not to be a public nuisance. When I come up here and 30 years of living in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, I come with experience and I speak to the community. I have a parish of over 700 people. And I speak with people on a daily basis, and I'm talking to you, Deneen, because it's very important for you to understand that there is a family, multiple families, okay, that have addressed issues when they're taking a shower and their skin is being rubbed off. They're getting spots in their skin, okay? And I could say a week ago, a woman came in with a complaint about the water. Okay, and it's one of a dozen, maybe a little bit over a dozen. So when you tell us that our water is not contaminated, when you tell us all these things that people want to hear, the public is not saying that. Okay? So respectfully, when we come up here to address issues and concerns that we have for our community, Millsy, is for you to understand that Millsy lives in Manheim. She doesn't live in Lancaster City. Okay, I don't know how she gets the time to address neighborhood engagements with community leaders. But I know and I can see that there is a one-sided. And the rest of the multitudes are being washed away. That's all I got to say.
It's the haves and have.
Thank you, Ms. Gomez.
Ms. Gomez, the people that you are reporting with some issues related to our water, I am not aware of. And if you would please call my office. You are the first person to bring this to my attention, and I'm asking you for more information. Please contact my office. Thank you.
They have a letter and everything from the city. Trust me, I'll show it to you.
Thank you. Any further comments for this period? Hearing none, we will close this public comment period and move on our agenda. The next item is the report of the mayor. Mayor Sirachi.
Speaking of letters, water customers who dutifully took a photo of their water line and sent it along to the city were caught by surprise when they received a letter titled Customer Notification of a Lead Status Unknown Service Line, which sounds very much like a letter from the government. A lot of customers were rightly frustrated, and some have been calling to ask what's up. So here's the story. While some 12,000 customers have verified what their water line is made of, the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection requires us to have two forms of verification for both the city-owned and customer-owned portions of the water service line. That's two forms of identification. That's two forms of verification for each side, 4 per property. This letter, which was a template provided by the Pennsylvania DEP to comply with the federal EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency's lead and copper rule, is intended to inform customers about the lead status of their water service line, but lacks local context. For example, the letter does not state that the city has a long-standing treatment protocol for preventing lead leaching into our water system. It also does not make mention of how many lead lines are known, which is 1% on the city side. And now the federal government is requiring us to understand what lead lines are on the property owner side. So again, they require 4 points of verification. You might now be wondering how we're going to come up with a second form of verification. The city is using a model called LeadCast Predict, which uses machine learning and data analytics to predict the material status based on the age of the construction of the property. This is particularly relevant for customers outside of the city because we serve many newer neighborhoods as well as older neighborhoods outside the city as well. Once the LeadCast model is calibrated, it will provide the second form of verification, and this is something that is approved by the regulatory bodies that are requiring us to have these 2 forms of verification. Until the LeadCast data is available, most customers will continue to only have 1 form of verification, which is likely going to be their own because they took a picture and sent it to us. This means that even if you have submitted a clear photo showing a non-lead line, the line will be classified as lead status unknown until the second verification is completed. Exceptions are customers whose service lines were installed after January 6, 1991, or those with water service lines greater than 2 inches in diameter. These customers have received a notification already stating that their line is not lead. We understand that the status of being unknown is a bit confusing for those who have already submitted their water service line verification. Please understand that we are juggling a myriad of regulations that are making this process very confusing. If you submitted a photo of your water service line, thank you. And there is nothing else that you need to do at this time. If you have not yet submitted a photo, please visit www.cityoflancasterpa.gov and click on the lead service line inventory link to submit your service line material. Those who have not yet submitted may also receive a call or a visit from an AmeriCorps volunteer or a city intern. Please be assured that these are legitimate representatives working on behalf of the city. And you can save the city time and money by simply going down to your basement and snapping that photo and uploading it. If you have questions or concerns, please reach out directly to info@cityoflancasterpa.gov. This is a decade-long process. The EPA has finalized rulemaking in October. We have 10 years to do all of the replacements. This is going to be akin to the water meter project, in which we need every household's cooperation, and it is going to take us a long time to work through the 50,000+ customer accounts that we have, especially given only that 12,000, although we appreciate that more than 12,000 have responded, but we need more to reduce the overall timeline and meet the requirements that are set for us by EPA. I will also just caution that as we move into a new presidential administration, that there are likely not going to be significant regulatory changes to the lead and copper rule, given that this has been promulgated and does not fall within the look-back period of a new administration to make regulatory changes. However, there may be continued change. There may be changes, may being the operative word, to the PFAS regulations that have been promulgated most recently by the Biden administration. And we will continue to address those. And you heard about some of the regulatory drivers that are contributing to capital costs when we met on November 14th. That concludes my report.
Thank you very much, Mayor Sarachi. Next item on our agenda is a report of President of Council. I do not have a specific report this evening, so we will move to council comments. Are there any council comments this evening? Councilor Diaz.
In regards to the letter, I also have a question. I had someone that is renting and felt like they should be sending it to the actual landlord. So is the landlord receiving these letters? Because there's a possibility that maybe they're not, since he received 2. So how are we working with the landlords?
Good evening, Director Campbell.
Thank you very much for that question. It is a very important question. Yes, we are reaching out to both the landlords, whatever address they have, as well as the address of the property in question. So if it's an absentee landlord, whether it's in the city, county of Lancaster, or the state of Pennsylvania, or elsewhere in the country, or even in the world, if we have that address of that owner, we are sending it to that owner as well. Both points, both at the address and at the address we have of the owner, yes.
Thank you, Councilor Diaz. Additional council comments this evening?
Council President, if I may.
Councilor Ahmed.
Thank you, Council President. With the recent passing of Mr. Ronald Ford, former Lancaster City President, who was the first African-American President of Council, as well as County Commissioner, I just wanted to take the time to publicly thank Mr. Ford and his family for their service to the City of Lancaster. There is going to be a service at Brightside Baptist Church on Friday, November 29th. And the family is asking, in lieu of flowers, to make any donations to Ebenezer Baptist Kitchen Committee. So I just want to take the time to publicly thank Mr. Ford for trailblazing the way for many of us who sit on this dais, and just wanted to thank him and his family for their service. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Councilor Ahmed. Additional council comments this evening? All right, hearing none and having reached the conclusion of our agenda, I'll hear a motion to adjourn.
So, second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you.